terms of prevention, I think a big issue right now is that many people have become complacent.
You grow up all your life and you hear that people get cancer and you're like, well, it's not going to affect me. You hear that people get HIV and you're like, well, I'm 19 years old. HIV is not going to affect me.
I mean, people know about HIV. They know how it's spread, but they tend to stigmatize certain populations of people. And so therefore, if they're not involved with those populations of people, then they feel like their risk is very, very minimal, instead of seeing the bigger picture in the increasing prevalence of HIV and AIDS in their own communities many times.
There are a lot of kids who hear the message about HIV here and there, in school, whatever, but there's a certain sense of invulnerability.
The youth are the ones who are really most heavily impacted by this disease. We're catching it at faster rates and we're not getting information. Furthermore, we're not finding out about our status until we're definitely ill. So by the time you find out, it's like there's very little treatments that you can take because your immune system is pretty much jacked.
Based on what we read, when we read the statistics and we read about interventions, we get up in our head, providers that is, get up in our head about what we need to teach people and what we need to show people. And what we really need is the average person to talk to the next average person about what risk they know they probably share. And that person can more likely get someone into testing or into any type of services that they need.
There are many different populations who are at risk, and it's important to tailor messages and tailor interventions to those specific populations. What works for young people may not work for a single parent female living in poverty.
One of the things that we have focused on is helping women to be assertive and to love themselves. If you love yourself, then you will want to protect yourself.
So the Latino community has been affected by HIV very dramatically. The program at Congreso started because it became such a hot topic. We do workshops for education to teach people on basic HIV information, as well as anywhere from condom negotiation and understanding STDs.
For some reason, it's a stigma, and it's so difficult to have a conversation with someone about use condom. Some people feel very comfortable to talk about pregnancy, but when it comes to talk about condom to protect themselves, it's some difficult. People feel very uncomfortable.
People don't want to concentrate and focus on things that really need to be conversations. And so I think fear and not knowing the information are our biggest obstacles.
Asians and Pacific Islanders are the fastest growing population in Philadelphia. Many of these people are limited English proficient people and don't have excellent access to the HIV prevention messages that are provided in English. And that is why ASIAC is doing our work, so that we can provide the resources necessary to prevent the spread of HIV in the Asian community here in Philadelphia. We have a golden opportunity right now to be able to prevent an epidemic in the Asian community that we've seen in successive other communities.
Prevention is not just say no. We know that that doesn't work. I think prevention is something that we need to understand who the individual is, what motivates them, what behavior changes they can make, and then work with them.
One of the structural ways that we sort of prevent people from becoming HIV positive within the IV drug use community is through the needle exchange program. And the needle exchange program started around 20 years ago when in Philadelphia 49% of the cases were from people sharing needles. That's a huge amount back in the early 90s. We just finished looking at the 2008 data, and 12% are from new IDU cases. So it went from like almost 50% to 12% with this one structural intervention.
It's not so much about information as it is about sort of creating a culture where people really value themselves and value their health. The migrant farm worker population is often pretty invisible to the larger community. They live on isolated farms, sometimes several miles outside of the local towns. We see our job in the camps not Not so much as being the conveyors of information, although that's important, and education, but also being the people who help generate a discussion.
HIV prevention is central to a broader health message about promoting awareness of our bodies, promoting sexuality as something that's positive and something that we should be concerned about wanting to be healthy.
It's really important to emphasize prevention because this is a disease that can be prevented. If people stay safe, if they use condoms, if they think about how to keep themselves and other people safe, it can really make a big difference.